This is Robert Stack, and you're listening to the Unbelievers podcast.
The United States government has been involved in many secret programs that are best described as unbelievable. Area 51, the reverse engineering of UFOs, the Philadelphia experiment in time travel, Project Pegasus, and the totally believable Andrew Basiago. But it doesn't end there. Tonight, the Unbelievers podcast makes its triumphant return for year 4 of the program with the story of how the Cold War-obsessed government of the 1970s and 80s attempted to get the upper hand in spying by recruiting individuals with abilities that some may consider unnatural. So join us now as we discuss the psychics, the mediums, and the military majors who use their unique abilities for the good old US of A. We're back, and it's time for remote viewing. Right here on the program, we continue to learn to unlearn everything you know. Hello, and welcome to the Unbelievers podcast. I'm Russ Ryan.
I'm Drea Mora.
And joining us, as always, for a new year is our producer and soundboard engineer, Rob Oakey.
I think your brain is a shooting star, son. Very funny.
What's up, guys? Welcome back.
Classic. Welcome back.
What's up?
Hello. Welcome back, you guys, for our 4th year of this show. And thanks for everyone for sticking around for our long break. How was you guys' break? How you guys feeling?
Okay, I guess. I got sick a couple of times and I'm okay. I'm okay now.
Well, I'm trapped in a prison of snow currently, so that's fun. Yeah,
it kind of is.
I'm completely trapped. There's like 4 feet of snow outside my house. They're like 3 feet.
True. Rob is experiencing this blizzard right now, this giant storm, and it's good that you are like locked in like now because we have you for the show because we need you to do this because we all know that Rob.
He has computers. He is so good with these computers. It's unbelievable.
I forgot about that clip. But yeah, I have a fun new toy for this new year. We'll see how that works out. But Drea, Rob, are you guys ready to get into this tonight? We have a fun topic.
Yeah.
I'm always ready.
Well, strap in, get your minds ready. It's time for remote viewing.
I cannot answer you really to nothing, maybe only to a tiny drop of tear that has fallen off the eye of a molecule. Yes, it is that little, for the whole truth and nothing but the truth is so big that the second drop of tear will make you crazy.
Yes, Uri Geller with his hit 1977 song, I Cannot Tell You. Man, did you guys know that Uri Geller was so multi-talented?
Oh, yeah, dude. That song brought back so many memories. Just
really?
Fucking, yeah, rocking out at the club. Are you kidding?
Roller skating around.
You're lying.
So good.
I actually thought you were being serious. I did not know that he was a musician at all. I don't even know if you could really call
No,
that
I really didn't either.
what he was doing music on top of that.
Shouldn't have happened.
It was like spoken word, like science.
Very William Shatner-esque almost.
What was that?
Around the same time period. But very appropriate for tonight because we will be discussing the exciting and fascinating phenomenon known as remote viewing. You guys are familiar with the concept of remote viewing, yes?
Yes.
Kind of.
Rob, kind of. That's what I thought. Well, the best way that I can describe remote viewing is that it is the practice or ability to locate hidden objects or people or locations using only the power of your mind.
Oh.
And this term was coined in the early 1970s by physicists Russell Targ, shout out to a Russ, and Harold Hal Puthoff of the Stanford Research Institute, which we have discussed the Stanford Research Institute before. Those are the guys who put Uri Geller from that song through all those tests, and they kind of popularized the concept of ESP. You remember that with Amazing Randy?
Yeah.
That's what I most think of when I think of remote viewing. I think of Uri Geller.
It all makes sense.
It all coming together. And at this time, these early 70s, where they're taking Uri Geller and they're making him do all these weird tests and filming it at Stanford, a lot of people like really took to this new concept of ESP, and they took it really seriously, including the U.S. government, who in the 1980s started collecting psychics and clairvoyants and drafting them into a secret program known as Project Stargate.
Oh, they're going to say the Avengers. I got really excited for a second.
It's like the Avengers, I think, you know?
It kind of is, actually.
Pulling together people with some like crazy, like unbelievable abilities.
Honestly, more like the X-Men, but because you know, like this is Professor X shit right here. This is some cerebro technology, you know?
It is more that. It's not like Crime Squad. Groups that we are putting together.
Yeah, no, that's street level crime. This is interdimensional, you know?
Street level.
It was. Yeah, because Project Stargate, the purpose of this was to make this mind-melding militia. And I'm sure you guys can guess what this group was made for. If the government's doing it, they wanted to read other world leaders' minds. They wanted to find nukes. They wanted to spy on hot chicks. Those are the three main tenets of Project Stargate. I'm pretty sure about that.
Not even in the right order. Yeah.
One of those seems slightly, I don't know.
Not like the other.
More questionable than the others for some reason.
They get breaks. They can do. I'm sure they are.
Well, yeah, reading. You should not
that.
read other people's minds. That's the wrong one.
Yeah, I guess it always has to go there eventually. There's always one weird guy.
It's psychic espionage, and it is an attempt to weaponize the New Age movement, which is a pretty bold move.
Pretty cool.
Coming out of the 60s and 70s. Yeah, that the government's like, well, you know, maybe we can warm up to some of these weirdos. They can see things? Look at this Uri Geller guy.
We can make this badass.
It's interesting. It's surprising. You're almost like, it feels like it's not true. You know, it almost feels like it could be like an urban legend that they like tried to use some of these sort of, I don't even know.
This is real.
I know. It doesn't sound like it, though. It sounds like the men who stare at goats or something. Like,
it is.
It is
exactly,
like a made-up story.
Yes.
It's not made up, okay? So far, remote viewing doesn't it sound more like an official term for just mediums and clairvoyants, right, Drea? That's a big thing about this. It's called remote viewing, but what do you think it really is?
I mean, I don't know what it really is. I've never really been able to, like, I've never done it myself, so I can't speak for it, but it kind of reminds me of like astral projecting from what I've heard of people's stories of astral projecting at night in their dreams and seeing things that turned out to be real in real time. It's like trippy shit. So I guess it's kind of the best term for it. Remote viewing.
They have to gussy it up. This is the military. So let's meet a woman named Angela Forb, who will either confirm or deny what you just said.
I was good at finding people. I was good at locating things.
Angela Ford was with Project Stargate for 9 years. She calls herself a medium. The Defense Department preferred remote viewer.
In a sense, were you hired as a psychic spy?
I guess, yes.
Her assignment? To look for missing hostages and fugitives without ever leaving this building at Fort Meade in Maryland.
I was called into session and my boss asked me, where is Charles Jordan?
In 1989, Ford says she was able to psychically track down a former customs agent who had allegedly gone rogue.
I said, the man is in Lowell, Wyoming, and I spelled it Lowell.
Ford was off by a letter. It was Lovell, Wyoming.
Yeah, finally, someone's tracking down all these rogue customs agents that have been a menace to our society for too long.
Finally, it's been a scourge, really. I'm glad that they were taking control over this at that time.
I love this lady, Angela Ford. She's got this infectious laugh at the beginning. I got a clip of her already. I had to listen to this so many times.
Were you hired as a psychic spy?
I guess, yes.
She just thinks it's hilarious.
She was so funny.
She just thinks it is hilarious that she became a spy.
Like, I guess so.
oh, yes.
It's delightful.
Yeah, Angela Forb. I don't know. I just liked her story. I like that she's looking for these rogue customs agents. He finds them. She's only one letter off, and she probably giggled when she heard that it was just a letter off.
That's pretty good. I mean,
that is impressive.
Letter off. Like, basically, she scored like how many letters are in that word? I think she got like an 80 or like a 90. I don't know. She did pretty good.
Yeah,
at least like a B.
Were you hired as a psychic spy?
I guess, yes.
She reminds me of that kid from the cartoon with Captain Knuckles and Candy Island and all that.
Flapjack.
Yeah. She sounds like Flapjack giggle talking all the time. I love Angela Forbes. But Angela Forbes, she's just one of many well-known remote viewers. And one in particular that I would like to focus on now is a man named Major Ed Dames, a remote viewer who, like Angela Forbes, he has had some great success searching for things with his mind. And for this clip, let's turn the clock back to, I don't know. Can you remote view, Rob, to when this clip is going to go back to? What year?
1981.
All right, let's see.
Welcome back to the other side. Now let's turn the clock back to 1991. Saddam Hussein is sitting on the top of a vast stockpile of biological weapons pointed at our troops. And these stockpiles were hidden deep in the desert. How did we find them? Our next guest says that he and his company found them through ESP. Let's welcome Ed Dames. Thank you, Ed, for joining us. You know, a country has biological weapons, and that information is kept secret in some place. You then do what?
I was the operations and training officer of the unit, would formulate a targeting package, and we would in essence use a satellite photograph or an agent's description of a place on the ground, and we would go into either an altered state, or we would use the techniques that are commercially available now to provide information on persons, places, things, or events.
Yeah, so you guys remember all those biological weapons that Saddam Hussein had? Ed Dames, Major Ed Dames, he found all those.
That's incredible. And that's the kind of shit that the military doesn't like to talk about that they're spending money on. But if anything, I'd rather them spend money on that kind of shit, you know, than other stuff.
But what kind of money do you need to spend? Like, what do they need money for? If they're like, I feel like it's all built in. You know what I mean? Like, are they hooking these guys up? Look,
if you got to have a training facility, you got to pay the people for their time. You got to pay for, you know, a building. You got to pay for, like, not just facilities, like, I don't know, food. Shelter.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I feel like you talk about the logistics of running a remote viewing program.
Many logistics.
Like,
yes, I always think of logistics.
You just sit in a room, I think.
It's really low upkeep. It's a low overhead, low upkeep. I feel like you just have to be like, hey, Ed, where's that shit at? And he's just like,
I don't know.
It's over there. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, they wanted to train a lot more people to do this so that they didn't have just him.
That makes sense. Yeah, and then you do.
But he's just like, I found them all anyway. And here's a good idea of what Ed Dames likes to look for.
Persons, places, things, or events.
Okay, hold on, Ed. It's not cool to go looking through someone's purse. That is very invasive. Drea, Rob, me, I don't want this dude looking through my
purses, places, things, or events.
Purses and plates. Yeah, no, I don't care. He can look through my purse. I ain't got nothing to hide.
Talking is hard sometimes.
I don't like the idea of Ed Dames looking through anything of mine, so I'll just leave it at that. But so Ed Dames, the reason I don't think he's doing this for the money. Dames was a military intelligence officer from 1979 to 1988. Those were his weird years, and here he is talking about how he approached the challenge of using remote viewing for military purposes.
When I heard the word impossible, my ears perked up. Say what? What's impossible again? I institutionalized those challenges to make them valid in the venue in which I was employed, that is, as a military intelligence officer.
He was mostly interested in the extraterrestrial, the ETs. That's his obsession.
Whoa, that is exciting, because at the end there, that's a bonus. That is his wife, Christine Dames, telling us about Ed's true passion, the
extraterrestrial, the ETs.
That's EETs, I think. Those are extraterrestrials. Dames
extraterrestrials.
Is like super ahead of it.
That's just like a really, really loud extraterrestrial who doesn't know when to, quit it and just relax. He's extraterrestrial.
Yeah, it's like, yo, we're getting kicked out of the bar. Like, nope.
You're being too extra.
Too bad.
If you got excited hearing now with remote viewing going in to talk about aliens, I'm going to stop you right there, because there's no further mention of what are they?
Extraterrestrial, the ETs.
In this, we watch this Ed Dames documentary. They bring up ETs right at the beginning. Very exciting. And that's it. But I got another clip from that. What we're talking about is, I think it's called Remote Viewing Memories. This is a compilation documentary on the life of Ed Dames to talk about right now. I got another clip from that, though. For some reason, I got heavy Unbeliever Carol vibes here.
Say what? What's impossible again?
What? Say? What happened? I don't know.
What happened?
Nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. And I like Ed Dames. In the end, I kind of like that sentiment from him. He's at least hitting you with some positivity, you know?
Somebody who's up for the challenge, yeah.
He does seem to take the credit, like Dre, of being like that guy that like he learned remote viewing and he was like, yeah, I'll take it a challenge. You want to use this as a military thing? Who you want me to look at? You want me to tell you what Putin looks like naked? Come on, let's go. Let's do this. Like
a little overeager, you think?
Nobody wants to know what Putin looks like naked. No, but that was the one.
What? What's impossible again?
I'm sorry. Was that?
No, nobody wants to see that.
It's true. I mean, I can't speak for the world, but I don't want to see that.
Well, hopefully Ed Dames will tell us one day. And the form of remote viewing that Ed Dames utilizes is known as technical remote viewing. So it's even fancier than being a medium.
Right.
All kind of added words here. And this was developed, you guessed it, at SRI, that Stanford Research Institute, by a man named Ingo Swann, who many, I'm sure, have heard of Ingo Swann. Major Ed Dames, that is his protege. Yeah, that's how you say that, protege. He learned from the Stanford Institute of Research.
He learned from a swan. Wait, what's the guy's name again?
Guy's named Ingo Swann. He was a professor and a researcher at the Stanford Research Institute. Uri Geller was there, and this was his thing he developed. So now he's got a man in the military run his program. And here, Ed Dames tells us about learning under that master, that very famous Ingo Swann.
My teacher, who was the father of remote viewing, Ingo Swann, said I was very weak on textures, and it became real important really quickly. I knew what was glassy as opposed to metallic and smooth and cold and shiny and fuzzy and furry and bristly. I had to get that down because it actually is very helpful to have a tactile idea of what's at the site.
Yeah, see, he learned from the master. Textures are very big in the remote viewing world.
That makes sense.
I think Ingo, he probably gave him one of those like books you get at a daycare where it's got like little different objects. Like, this is rough. And at the end, there's like a mirror and it freaks him out. He's like, oh.
One, I love those books. And two, I can totally see that that's something that would happen to me, getting scared by the mirror at the end.
It's just kind of like he was describing different like testicles. He's just like, some of them are bristly, some of them are fuzzy. So
this like testicle remote
Some
viewing?
of them are smooth like glass. I was just like, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I think so. And Ed loves listing things, but yeah, this is his listing of what is it? Ball descriptions?
Yes.
Shiny and fuzzy and furry and bristly.
There's something about that. Let's hear it again real quick. Hold on.
Shiny and fuzzy and furry and bristly.
Something about that reminded me of a very old clip that I'm bringing back for this. He sounds just like this guy.
Cuddly, huggy, paying attention to me. And
he kind of just stumbles in the same spot. It's a great.
I forgot about that clip. Good callback. It's almost February.
Yeah, well, so we know he loves listing things, listing shiny, bristly, all that. But something he likes even more than listing things is asking a lot of questions that none of us are qualified to answer.
What was the makeup of the SS-18 missile? What were the Soviets really doing in the biochemical arena? Was there such a thing as non-ionizing electromagnetic radiation weapons? What kinds of particle beam weapons were the Soviets developing?
What about the wetness?
What kind of directed energy weapons? Neutral particle beam? Charged particle beam weapons? High-powered lasers? High-powered microwaves? What were the polarizations? What were the frequencies? What were the pulse durations?
Is that a head?
My agents on the ground could not give me that. The satellites were not doing a good enough job. As an intelligence officer, I needed more.
What happened? I don't know.
That was his wife chiming in there. But that is a lot to worry about all the time, you think, for a guy taking on a remote viewing project.
That's so many questions that my brain turned off. And if he can't even get people to keep listening to him, how is he going to get?
I think he asked if that was a head at one point.
I was trying to follow the questions, but I was also being lambasted with sound clips the whole time, so it was a little bit distracting. But it was a lot. It seemed like he was dealing with a lot. This guy had a lot.
It sounded like he kind of wanted to almost. He's like showing off. Like, this are the kinds of big questions that I tackle. I know you guys are like, beneath this, but you'll get there someday.
It did kind of sound like in a movie when like one science character just starts talking like science gibberish, and like it's supposed to go over the viewer's head, It felt like that a little bit.
Yeah. We're like, he's intentionally using even bigger words than he needed to. Just to kind of seem extra important.
It's not going to come across on the podcast, but if you could look up like Ed Dames in the 80s and 90s, the contrast between what the guy looks like, I mean, no offense, but he's got a kind of like he's a different looking guy. I thought my wife thought he looked like Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite, but I thought he looked like Kip. And then I realized, no, he's both. He is like in a amalgam of Uncle Rico and Kip from Napoleon Dynamite. In these clips, he even has a handlebar mustache at some point and like a really strange mullet and stuff. So
he went for like the worst trends that were available at the time to put on your face and head. That's what he did. He put them together and looked like not quite a hippie, not quite a burnout, just some kind of weird sleazy in between. But he was a yuppie scientist too.
He's like had a weird Camaro.
He was
and stuff
really
in some
weird.
scenes.
Oh yeah, and the sunglasses that he's like strolling down the street in at one point.
The Terminator, sure. Nerd.
He looks more like a suspect than like what he actually is, like a psychic spy, you know?
He looks like the drawing of some kind of, suspect drawing. Like, you gotta look out for this guy.
Yeah. It's so weird that some of like the biggest badasses in like the paranormal world of this time are him, Bob Lazar, I don't know, like Richard Hoagland, like all these like complete goofballs. There's no, now at least we have Lyle Blackburns who are
Look, I feel like everybody, cool. Yeah, sure. Everybody during that time period was a weird goofball, to be honest. Like nobody made it through that era not looking ridiculous. Well, I'll give him a pass on that.
Who was the guy that Max Spears was like fighting interdimensionally that was part of the government? You remember that story? They had I forget the name of the guy. There was some dude, some like older guy that he was like battling interdimensionally who worked for the government. So like
I keep on thinking of Voldemort, but I know that's not it. Don't say that name. Did he ever say the name of it? I just remember it was something like really dark, almost satanic he was talking about.
Yeah, I'm sure someone out there listening is probably yelling it at their radio right now.
Yeah, please let us know.
But no, this is just it's just something that we've kind of come across before. It's that there are these characters that exist within the government that you would be surprised that the government works with these people, even regardless of what their hair looks like.
It's like he talks about like all of his time in the 80s, he was just spent worrying about and like psychically spying on the Soviets because it's just Cold War stuff. That's all he did was worry about all those questions you just heard. And what separates remote viewing from these other psychic claims is that it does appear to have some concrete results. We've already heard news stories of women being able to pull off great remote viewing feats, finding these rogue agents, these rogue, whatever they are, border guards, whatever she found. But don't take my word for it. Take it from Congressman Norm Dix.
Congressman Norm Dix is on the House Intelligence Committee and confirms the use of psychic spooks.
And there are some that have a record of being relatively accurate and having some ability to, in essence, foresee what is going to happen. And obviously, in the world of intelligence, that can be very, very important.
I was a very loose cannon on deck. My superiors knew that Ed Dames could not be satisfied unless he was thrown certain types of bones, those bones being supreme challenges that nobody else could crack.
Yeah, Ed Dames is a hard to satisfy man, as we heard from that. And Norm Dix is backing up this claim. Like Norm Dix is all behind remote viewing.
Dix knows what he's doing.
Yeah. What a name, Norm Dix.
Normal Dix.
I think his full name is Normal.
Hold on.
What a 1-2 punch.
I think what was weird is that last part, it sounded like that was still Norm Dix saying that about Ed Dames, but that was Ed Dames referring to Ed Dames in the third person.
Yes, Ed Dames does talk about Ed Dames a good bit in the third person, but you hear that. I'm Ed Dames. I'm a loose cannon. I'm like Lethal Weapon, like on this crowd. Like I can go off.
He just talks himself up. It's crazy. Yeah.
That's why I think he was spying on hot chicks too. I think he was like, I'll go look at anything. Oh, you can't hide anything. Seen your wife.
The only way that name could be worse is if he was Abby Norman Dix.
All right.
You are Abby Normal. Yes, very Abby Normal.
Oh. Right back to it, man. This is a very silly episode already. What is going on this year? And man, we had to do so much research for this. And in that research, I came across Ed Dames's Bumble account, and it just said
that Ed Dames could not be satisfied unless he was thrown certain types of bones.
Good to know, Ed. Thank you.
That's a terrible Bumble profile quote.
Throw this dog a bone.
I have to wonder how successful that is going for him. Probably not very well.
You've seen him. He's a cool looking guy. He's probably pulling down all.
He's cooler. He is cooler looking now, I guess.
He's going to see it anyway. You might as well give it to him. And
Ew.
Without a sufficient amount of bones being thrown Ed's way by the military, he struck out on his own, bringing remote viewing to the private sector by opening his own remote viewing company called SciTech. And this shocked a lot of Ed's former bosses. And Rob, if you could hire a remote viewer, like an Ed Dames type, what would you have them look for?
Oh my God. What would I have them look for? I would have them look for, I don't know, man. What a random question. I'm not really looking.
What a question.
I've got nothing out there that I'm really looking for. I guess I would have them look into Area 51. I would have them go to Area 51 and go within the hangar, whatever 51 or 18 or whatever the fuck it is over there, and check it out. Tell me if there's aliens in there. And if there's...
Hold on. You don't think Ed Dames at some point, we know that he...
Extraterrestrial.
That's what I'm saying. He probably knows his way around there already.
Yeah. You asked Rob what he would ask for to look for. That's what he would ask for.
That's what I want. I want to know about the
damn
aliens.
It's a good thing to ask for.
Tell me about the aliens. What are they doing
about
right
the
now?
aliens, George?
Yeah, I wish they would tell us about the aliens. No one wants to talk about it. They get all quiet.
Yeah.
All right, Drea, I know you have some clips from this as well. What did you get from this remote viewing memories, Ed Dames Spectacular?
Well, I'm not going to start off with a clip. I need to go a little bit into the backstory, which I feel was half of this documentary at some point. After Ed Dames formed SciTech and everything and got not a lot of clients. Because, I mean, look how hard it was for Rob to think of what he would want to look for. How many people are going to need to hire a remote viewer? So it didn't really work out that well. He was hired mostly for things like corporate espionage, like we were talking about before. Like, oh yeah, let's see like what that guy's planning and cooking up. It's not a real hotbed of activity, it turns out.
That's why there's Burger Kings by every McDonald's, because Ed Dames would tell them where they were being built for a short period there.
Yeah, I guess that worked out for them. But his poor wife that we heard from earlier, she mentioned how obsessed he was with this whole practice, and she was imploring him because the SciTech was not doing well. Please, can you just do something, more practical, more normal for a job? And he divorced her because she wasn't a ride or die, and he needs a ride or die.
Yeah,
So
Christine was cool too. He doesn't get to hear this anymore. He doesn't get to hear
extraterrestrial, the ETs.
Yeah. So
she knew.
I guess no, she didn't. She didn't give a shit is the thing. So he forges ahead with the technical remote viewing, and during that process meets this lady named Jonina Durif. She went and found him actually because she heard rumors about all of this practice. I really decided not to clip any of this because she speaks so slow and so boring. So so she thinks she's going to be good at this, and I guess she must have been something because he then asks her to head up the commercialization of SciTech, and then they got married. So wow.
Did you see that slide that they show too, where they describe who she is and who she was married to, and that she was married to actor Brad Dourif, and that they're like, and he like this guy stole her from Brad Dourif. Is that's kind of the way that it felt, right? Is that what happened?
Essentially, I feel like she must have had some own things going on, within herself, and she broke away. Because she was like, wait, but what's all this cool psychic stuff?
She likes those dangerous types.
She went out. She did dangerous types.
This is one of the strange parts about this documentary is that it suddenly starts to like divert into like half of it is about their relationship. Like
it's like really about all this drama behind it.
Starts focusing on his relationship with his wife, and I was like, I thought this was about remote viewing.
Same, dude. I had to watch this documentary like 3 times in a row just to kind of understand what the major points of it were supposed to be. So I tried to I was like, you know what? No, back to actual remote viewing. Here's a clip of Ed clearing up some particulars about remote viewing and a sample of his training.
We're not going anywhere as a remote viewer. When we use the terms getting the target or going to the target, those are misnomers. What we actually are doing is perceiving a person, place, thing, or an event as a pattern of information. What's the texture right there? Touch it. Soft still.
We began training civilians from all walks of life.
Can you taste it? Touch it.
Yeah, it tastes kind of grainy.
But write it down. Taste grainy.
This is so much worse in audio form. It's so much worse.
It is, because he does appear and he's not even looking at the student or trainee or what have you. He's got, like his hand kind of on his chin. He's looking elsewhere, like, okay, nodding along. He's actually doing it pretty by the book.
He's going back to his training. He's going back to Ingo Swann. He's thinking.
Shiny and fuzzy and furry and bristly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so I guess because of that, I'm sure you guys probably saw these 2 soundboard clips come in.
What's the texture right there? Touch it. Soft still.
Is it soft still?
I don't know.
Whoa, is that really what they're saying? Wait, play that again. Hold on. I got lost.
What's the texture right there? Touch it. Soft still.
Yes.
It was soft before. It's still soft now. It's not going anywhere until, I guess, they must have skipped ahead a bunch, because then it got.
Can you taste it? Touch it.
Yeah, it tastes kind of grainy.
But write it down. Taste grainy.
What?
Grainy.
What is she
probably
tasting?
can understand her with all that's going on. What is she tasting?
I don't know if it's like grits or like some kind of cereal.
Grits?
I don't know.
Grits? Grainy ass grits.
Yeah. Grainy. I don't know what would be grainy.
I hope it's grits. I hope it's, I don't know. I'm not even going to go there.
Right. No, I feel you, like both on both sides of that. I would be worried for the person who. Never mind. Yeah, it's grainy, and that's not a good thing.
Play that soft one again. This is like in P.P. Warren level weird.
What's the texture right there? Touch it. Soft still.
It's almost like he just expected, like, it's soft still, isn't it?
It's like, yeah,
we've got some more work to do.
Here's what happened.
Private check here.
Yeah. So then he goes on to explain that where all of these ideas and all this information that people are accessing is in the Matrix, that he says is in TRV terms, technical remote viewing terms. They call it the Matrix. Super clever.
He's Neo.
He's
got to be Neo, right?
Oh, he wants to be so bad.
Yeah, he is pretty much.
It is pre-Matrix too. Like all his footage is like pre-Matrix stuff. I think
I would say it's actually
about
the same time. Like this documentary is a little bit out of order. So some of these like clips could be from like 2001 or so. What year did the Matrix come out in? Shit,
99.
That's what I thought. Okay. So yeah. Anyway, I mean, it's
a concept.
Way,
it's more of a concept anyway. Like I believe that the Matrix
the filmmakers
concept
had to have that same.
Yeah, exactly. That came from somewhere else. You know,
it's the whole collective unconscious.
Well.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. James did wear sunglasses at one point, so I'm just saying.
I think we all have.
He was just like a cool dude.
He's always been cool.
Yeah.
So all of this collective unconscious overlays our individual unconsciousness. This is where I had to watch this segment over and over again to try to understand what the fuck he was saying. And I'm wondering if this guy is heading up like these training courses, if he couldn't find a better, more succinct way to describe how this is. But it's like, he says the unconscious follows the conscious signal. So you thinking about something brings up that, and then it will be overlaid with the collective unconscious on top of that once you get there, which I don't know, man.
Let me hit my bongle.
I don't know.
I gotta understand this. I gotta get on your level.
It was, and I would have clipped him saying it, but honestly, the way he described it was way more confusing. And again, also just kind of put me to sleep the 5 times in a row that I tried to.
It just tied a knot in my brain thinking about that. So I don't know.
Hey, an extra wrinkle.
Yeah.
But now he's accessing the Matrix in order to try to solve some big mysteries of the world, which, again, like before, he's pretty vague about, but, feels big.
It'll be a while before everything that I know can be transferred to the public. It will be done. And when it's done, I'm free to do what I want, to have fun with it. The UFO problem happens to be one of those things in terms of fun. I followed a technical remote viewing chain of custody to places here in Polynesia that we very well know to be extremely hot, active sites that I'm about to penetrate.
Ooh.
We've uncovered something that's very, very unique in time-space. Here in Polynesia, the item of interest appears to be in a cave, possibly submerged. It could be the Rosetta Stone for the whole UFO problem.
Damn.
Oh man, a lot of hot penetration going on in with his.
Polynesia.
That was actually his mentor, his main book was called Penetration, Ingo Swann. And so he's bringing it back. Yeah, penetration is a big part of remote viewing.
Yeah,
they gotta find a better word for that, man. They have to.
He made me LOL when I was watching this last night.
I do wish he would elaborate more on what this UFO problem is, because it like Russ mentioned before, this documentary never really gets into it much. No details other than just acknowledging that it's a big part of his motivation.
So you're saying it didn't penetrate deep enough for you, is what you're saying?
Yes, exactly. Then thank you for that. I'd like to play soundboard 9, please.
Extremely hot, active sites that I'm about to penetrate.
Someone threw him that bone he was looking for earlier, finally. Like, he's no more soft or anything like that.
Yeah, somebody finally sent him the good porn sites, I guess. And
hot and active. Into it. It does sound like it's describing like local girls in your area.
Hot local singles, man. They want you.
So look, what I got from that last clip, though, is that he is, like his wife said, his ex-wife said, he is really into extraterrestrials, but he feels this responsibility to do what he considers real things, like looking for the chemical weapons or finding, I don't know, lost people or spying on, leaders or peeping or whatever else he's doing, that he feels a responsibility to do this for us as, as a patriot, I guess, or as I don't know how he identifies as far as that goes. But so he looks at the UFO stuff almost like he's like, well, I'll do that. That's for me. I'll do that.
That's like his
hobby.
Yeah. So you can see he's really serious about this skill being super important for the bettering of the world, that he needs to pass along and spread to other people. There's like a certain virtue there, I guess. Whereas we have other people like Dane Spots, who we'll hear about soon, selling technical remote viewing as a skill you'd want to learn in order to enhance your life, get love, money, power, etc. But Ed Dames is quick to reject that idea. Not directly, not like somebody asked him about Dane Spots, but in this next clip, you'll hear maybe it's not necessarily for virtuous reasons.
Can you determine things like future lottery numbers?
We can very easily look at very large events that have a large momentum along a trajectory into the future. But things that are very small, have a weak signal, or what we would describe as a small spike in the future, are very difficult for us to do. So things like lottery numbers are probably not doable.
Oh, man, I'm calling Dane Spots the other guy. If he's going to help a lot, those are the things you actually want to someone to remote view.
Probably not doable. Like, I don't know about you guys. I think getting some winning lotto numbers would be more than just a small spike in my life. Like,
it seems kind of.
What if you're like, no, I'm a crazy person. I'm going to do something insane with this money and it will change the world. Like, you should see this spike.
This is what I don't understand is that, okay, you can get coordinates. You can get GPS coordinates, which is literally a series of numbers. That's your whole thing, basically, as a remote viewer, is like transporting your mind to this other location. I don't understand. Like, and you can get vital information is what it sounds like, but you can't get lotto numbers. I feel like the lotto numbers are way less significant in many ways than like this important information that the government is out there seeking.
Like, remote view me. Every day I'm going to read the winning lotto numbers in the newspaper. Just remote view me any day. I will be staring at those numbers.
Part of this makes it like, that's always like been a psychic thing. You would think that's like one of the main things that makes me question psychics is like, if psychics are real, generally, there should be a bunch of them out there who are profiting big time off of this shit. Like big time. And there's only like a few of them. And even those ones are known as like the huckster ones. They're usually the ones who people are like, yeah, that's scam bullshit.
Or maybe they're right. And those kind of things you just can't, the universe is not allowing you to kind of view those kind of things. Maybe it's like a skill that has to be some kind of importance of something with emotion attached to it.
So there's this like laws tragic. Of the universe, like holding
maybe that's what it is.
Cheat. This ain't Back to the Future, man. You can't just cheat and bet on the Super Bowl.
And I don't see why you can't cheat in that case. Like, that's what I would think. Like, how is the universe not going to allow it? The universe isn't a person.
People are trying. Verlock's out there trying. PP's trying to cheat. They're all. A lot of people are. Yeah.
It's all energy, right? And I agree with the idea that there's no, like, I feel that the universe is mostly chaos. And if you're able to see things like a clairvoyant, can't really control when they're going to be seeing their visions and everything. So that's why I believe if someone's like psychically clairvoyant, like, well, why haven't you won the lotto yet? Like, I don't get to choose what I see. It just pops up.
That's a great counter argument. That's a great counter argument, right? I like that.
This guy, Yeah, that's what I usually kind of resign to when it comes to that topic for them. But when you have these people, especially like I said, we'll get into Dane's spot soon, who essentially say, no, you're able to see whatever you want, whenever you want, if you get good enough at it. It's just, it then leads you to like, well, then these people should be winning the lottery all the time, unless there's a limit on how many times you can win the lotto. I don't know.
Yeah, who made
There's
these
definitely
rules?
mixed messages here.
Oh, the universe
Well,
made
that's why
these rules?
that's why it's technical remote viewing means it's teachable. I think that the technical thing being added on to something that was already
Is
just
that what that word means?
mediumship. I believe so. I believe that means that you can go to SciTech.
You can go to
whatever.
you can go to ITT Tech.
Become a remote viewer?
Yeah.
Cool.
For sure.
RM Tech.
Sign me the fuck up. It is interesting to me that Ed Dames believes in this ability enough to monetize it and try to make it commercialized with this company SciTech, but conveniently can't seem to cut out the middleman and view himself some winning lotto numbers. And it's like I don't think he's trying hard enough. But you know who does try hard enough and wants you to try hard enough? Dane Spots does.
Dane Spots.
Yeah. But before we move on to him, I know you're super excited to hear what he has to say. I want to play a little game that will test your Ed Dames knowledge. This is actually stuff that was taken from the remote viewing training video where they ask Ed questions. And for some reason they called this segment Mind Dazzle, like, puts like a portmanteau, like Mind Dazzle. It's all one word.
Cool.
But I'm officially calling this game Ask Dames. If you could hit the music, please, Rob. Ask Dames. This is the only quiz show all about Ed Dames, and the rules are simple. I read a question, and you guess Ed's answer to it, and that's it. It's just multiple choice.
This is so exciting. Bringing a brand new game into a brand new season. I can't wait.
She went into host mode. Did you hear that? That was awesome.
You guys get it? It's like Ask Women, but it's Ask Dames.
Yes, that's great.
I thought it was way too perfect. Anyway, so Mind Dazzler number 1. Why didn't professional remote viewers see the events of 9/11? Would you say that Ed Dames' response was, we don't involve ourselves with that? B, we did, but we weren't allowed to say anything. C, some of us did, we were not listened to. Or D, our attention wasn't turned that way.
Okay, I want to go first. I'm saying Ed Dames is going to say C. That is a very hero thing to say. That's almost like saying I was almost on every plane that day at the Pentagon.
I agree.
So,
all right,
okay.
Rob agrees. So you both hit C. Okay, let's hear the answer.
Our attention wasn't turned that way. There aren't that many professional remote viewers in the world. We're looking there now for what it's worth.
All right, great answer.
God damn.
That
you both were wrong, but wasn't that a treat? Yeah.
That's a terrible answer. He should have answered C. You should be a writer for this guy, because that is a terrible way to approach it. Because if you're going to talk about things that have little blips in history, like there are still things being felt from that event, like to this day.
Oh yeah.
Such a
Sylvia
huge one.
Brown finding people's boyfriends in water somehow who are there at the site. You know, that people are still reeling from it. Feeling from it.
Ask Dames. I've loved this so far. So we are both.
I'm surprised.
No one's on the board yet.
Not quite yet.
Host.
We're moving on to Mind Dazzler number 2. Have professional remote viewers ever remote viewed Area 51?
Whew.
Okay. Did he answer A, I don't have to? B, I don't want to? C, I'm not allowed to? Or D, yes, we have, and it's no big deal?
Oh, right, Rob, I'll let you go first this time.
Oh man, it's got to be yes, we have it. It's no big deal, because that sounds like cover up answers, and he's working for the fucking government, so I don't trust this guy anymore.
No. I think he's working for the government. I'm saying whatever was C, that they're not allowed to. I'm thinking Ed Dames is going to go out of that and say, nope, I'm not even allowed to, because he wants to, because he loves the
extraterrestrial.
He does. He does. He loves them so much. Let's find out. Let's hear what his answer was.
Come on. Have I ever done it? I don't have to. Friends that work there.
I forgot.
Oh, come on.
I just ask them, hey, what's going on? Oh, that's neat.
I hate that.
It's a real mind dazzler.
I think we're really getting to know Dames here. He doesn't have to.
He's a dick.
There.
He's
an
asshole.
Whatever.
He should have still remote viewed it, because how do you're just going to trust your friends? Like just for like take it for their word. Like they're going to tell you
guys. You know what I'm super into
pissed.
is aliens and UFOs, and I'm a remote viewer. You ever looked at Area 51? No, of course not. Why would I do that? Why would I do that?
I could just ask my
look
friends,
at it
and
every night. No, they tell me that everything is there, and I go, all right, cool.
Why would I look at America's most popular alien UFO landmark? I would never do that. I have friends that live there and work there, so they tell me about it all the time.
I have pen pals who write to me and tell me what's going on over there, and I say, well, that's cool. That's
it seems lazy. Once again, both these answers seem lazy on Ed's part.
Yeah, Range for Harry. Harry, work with that guy. Know him. Yep.
Wait till we get to Mind Dazzler number 3. Have you ever encountered any extraterrestrials? Did he answer A, if it's a large enough event, we may have picked up on the data. B, the term encounter would be a misnomer. C, I've been the team leader out in the desert using our remote viewing data. Or D, some of us are more in tune with those energies than others. Yes.
All right, I want to go with this. I'm just going to say, he's going to say the answer that didn't answer anything that said, yeah, I go out in the desert and I do stuff like that one, because he doesn't really answer any question there. And I don't think you would have written that one.
That's clever.
I want to go with D because I felt like from the other answers, it kind of fits. I don't know. At this point, I don't know anymore with Ed. I got no faith in this guy anymore.
Tricky guy. Let's find out.
Some of the best scientists in this country. I have been the team leader out in the desert using our remote viewing data and make measurements of hot zones where UFOs come and go. That's as far as we've gone in terms of really getting our teeth into the UFO problem. And that's good. It was adventurous enough for me. But
Joshua P. Warren has done that on TV already. That's not impressive. He's like, anyone could go out in the desert and be like, yeah, I'm looking for UFOs. Like, oh, cool. That's awesome. Like, yeah, I did that. All right, I'm on the board.
Russ has got 1 point.
I watched this documentary. I watched this last night. Admittedly, I was well gassed. I was pretty stoned when I watched it, but I did watch this and I'm so far getting a 0 on it.
This guy, he keeps throwing everybody for a loop. Like I said, even though I watched it 3 times, I still would have a hard time.
Yeah, not me. I think I got his number now. I love dames. Yeah, I want to be asking all kind of dames. All right, let's hear.
Let's find out. We're going to ask Dames. Mind Dazzler number 4. What's next for remote viewing? Did he answer A, everything has to do with what you want to do with remote viewing? B, I only know what I'm doing, and it will be an unlimited reach with remote viewing. C, no one can really know, ironically, what we will do with remote viewing. Or D, I don't know what I'm doing, but it has nothing to do with remote viewing.
It should be D. You have to go first. Should probably be D, but I think it's B.
Okay.
All right, hold on. Now I get to pick. I am saying D. I think that would read it again. What was it again, Drea? What was D?
D was, I don't know what I'm doing, but it has nothing to do with remote viewing.
That sounds like a mantra that he just like kind of slipped into out of nowhere.
So Rob, you said B.
I said
B. B as in boy.
Okay. B as in boy.
And then Russ was D as in dick. Okay. All right. Well, let's find out.
What's next with remote viewing? I don't know what you're going to do with remote viewing, what all you are going to do with remote viewing. I know where I'm going. It has nothing to do with remote viewing.
Oh my God, you're right. You're right.
I actually did kind of mess up that how I wrote it, but yeah, the whole it has nothing to do with remote viewing. I fucked that up. I'll still give it to Russ with that.
Yeah.
And you know what? I will give Rob a point for saying that I only know what I'm doing, because he did kind of say that in his answer, and I fucked that up. Okay. So I'm giving you a point.
That feels like it's out of pity, but I'll still take it.
A little bit. Like, pity points count.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I'll take it.
Wait, was that the final round? If I crushed him,
yes,
is there no chance?
This was the last answer, but really quick, I wanted to hear the rest of his answer. I wanted to play that for you guys because the rest of his answer is just A+ fantastic.
And this is the question: what does the future hold for remote viewing? Correct?
Yeah. What's next for remote viewing?
All right.
Remote viewing is a mind tool. It's of the mind. Okay. I found something deeper than the mind, turning remote viewing on myself. It's a whole lot more sexier than the mind. It's who I really am. This is who I think I am. Bye, folks. Take it, do whatever you want. Have as much fun with it or more than I did. Become better than me. I'm out of here. Fast. And I mean it.
And I mean it. That's it for the game.
No, don't go, Ed. What are you talking about? That is it for the game. Russ,
you won by 1 technical point because Rob got a point too. I'm not sure if that cleared up anything at all about how I feel about him and this whole topic. I just know for sure that I have a new favorite sound clip.
This is who I think I am. Bye.
That's so great. There were so many good ones in that. In fact, you picked that one. And I love that.
Well, at the end, like I did have the one of just like, I'm out of here for real. I mean it. Like it just.
That's a new one. It's your boy. I'm out. Deuces. It's Ed Dames. And what is he talking about in this whole thing? So he's talking about how sexy remote viewing is. No, I was listening. He said remote viewing is actually super sexy now because I just look inside myself and man, you're not going to believe like how
it's
sexy
insane.
I am in here to like get inside.
Honestly,
like
I think
box,
he's
whatever
on
you talked
something.
about earlier.
I think he's on something. I don't think that he was totally sober for this Q&A.
He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's saying.
Think?
He's talking about penetrating the hot spots and.
Oh, that was years ago.
He's like he chooses his words very carefully.
Of course he does. When he says stuff like
Ed Dames could not be satisfied unless he was thrown certain types of bones.
Yeah,
and bones.
Exactly, and calling himself sexy, like or whatever, calling remote
whatever do
sex,
that.
whatever.
He's like, it's even sexier than the mind. I'm like, oh, really? There's something sexier than your sexy mind, Ed Dames?
He wants some weird cult. Yeah, he is teaching this stuff. SciTech is like, it's like a casting couch.
Just out of all the words
Allegedly.
I could have used, out of all the words I would have thought for him to describe a remote viewing, the last thing I thought he was going to say was sexy.
Sexy.
So,
I said in the beginning he was
he was checking out hot chicks.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, but no, he's looking at himself now, so he thinks that he's the sexiest thing to look at.
Yeah, what are you doing, Ed? There's so many other things that are way sexier than you'll ever be out there. You go look at that. Stop looking at yourself, you weirdo.
I think it's falling apart because sometime before this, Ed and Janina were being sued for a breach of contract after cutting out one of their, I don't know if it was an employee or how high level he was. They cut him out of a deal involving the profits on all these training videos, and they ended up losing. And it's at this point in time where Dane Spots comes into the picture.
Imagine being able to have direct knowledge about any person, place, thing, or event, anywhere in time or space. Installing high-level remote viewing skills into your mind gives you an extremely powerful advantage in life.
We felt that this is an innate ability, that it's our birthright, and like language, everybody can learn it. So we wanted to make it available for the public so that everybody could learn it if they chose to.
Be prepared for an adventure that's like nothing you've ever experienced.
And that was Dane Spots. Sounds good, right?
Oh, it sounds like he's bringing it to the public that anyone can learn this. This is our birthright. We should be fun. We deserve to be remote viewers already. When he said birthright, I was like, what?
I can feel.
I don't remember them telling me like, yeah, you pretty much should be able to like peek at anything. Like, wait, what? Really?
I can like feel the 1-800 number like plug coming,
about to surface,
or like the website plug. Something is coming.
The
like
seminar,
or something. The seminar,
coming.
Yeah, something.
There's a seminar
totally.
for sure.
I can feel it.
This. Multiple seminars. There's a weekend somewhere on a boat, probably.
Oh, I hope. But who was that lady? Who was that lady talking in there? That was Janina. So this is what the weird shift has happened. I know you can probably not tell so well as I have. By the time we got to this point in the documentary, it has become majorly focused on the drama behind the scenes.
Yeah, I want to say this whole thing, it does seem like, Dre, that it started where you're thinking this is a very positive Ed Dames thing because it's all this footage of him. But then by the time you get to the end of it, it's like it's whoever owned the footage of him before that got in this big lawsuit, right? That just released all this. This is doesn't put him in the best light, correct?
Oh, I mean, like everybody kind of gets it. I find this to be like a huge just kind of expose. I feel like the person who put this together really was like middle ground, like actually real journalism. It seemed non-biased. He's just kind of casting everybody. He's just throwing it all out there.
It's well done. It is well done. And it does show like sort of, I guess the best and
the best and worst.
The worst. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're going to get into it right now. I'll briefly recap as briefly as I can. So Ed Dames goes on Coast to Coast AM, mentions that he has left SciTech due to quote unquote ethical reasons. I'm guessing if tensions arose between him and Janina after being sued, because Janina then states on a different radio show that she found herself suddenly single. And she tells a story about how she decided to remote view her optimal mate. And when she finally met up with the owner of a company who was just hitting her up, trying to buy 50% of SciTech, it was Dane Spots. This was the guy she sketched. This was the guy she remote viewed. And just here's some more Dane. We need to get a bigger picture on him.
Spots.
What's happening is the amazing Brain Supercharger soundtrack has altered your consciousness by synchronizing your brainwave patterns. Listen, I know what you're thinking. That this is just another one of those half-hour commercials trying to sell you something. But this is different because when you exercise that power and gain full use of your inner capacities, you can change the world. The magic will rub off on everyone around you. And you'll have answers to questions like, what should I do with my life? How can I become the best me that I can be? I urge you to call and see for yourself the incredible power these mind tools have to offer. You can be the judge. I think you'll be impressed.
Yes, I'm not trying to trick you. I'm trying to hypnotize you through this.
Guess what? I'm sold. But no, very PP-like, no? Like very Joshua P. Warren vibes. Do you guys think he might be bordering on SOS territory with this angle?
Yeah, a little bit. And it seems like he stole Ed Dames's dame along the way too, right? Like, what is happening here?
Ed Dames's dame spotted Dane's spots, like you mentioned so succinctly before. If you don't think he's bordering on SOS territory now, you might after you hear this next part, because not only did he earlier, under a different company called like Zygon Incorporated, he created something called the Learning Machine, which he alleges would open a window directly into your mind and, like magic, pour in new information. And he actually ends up being sued by the FTC later on for fraud.
So wait, he made something called the Learning Machine?
Yes, the Learning Machine.
And this is before the wishing machine.
It really sounds like this guy is like parallel universe Joshua P. Warren.
Right?
Like he's just like multiverse. He's like a variant of Joshua P. Warren.
Like, he's a little pre-P Warren, like even like almost like
a pre-P Warren.
Almost like Stephen Gibbs' level a little bit. But yes, not the wishing machine. No, the Learning Machine. Everyone can benefit from this. Especially if you're learning your textures and you're seeing yourself in the mirror and everything. It's a great machine to help conquer that book.
I will say, I think he has one up on Joshua P. Warren, because not only did he actually gain enough attention to be sued by the FTC and he had to pay out and everything, where then it fast forwards to like 2006 or some shit, where he actually ends up, we're shown some pictures of an affidavit by Jonina against Dane Spots in what seemed to be divorce proceedings with some intellectual property mixed
There's
in.
so much drama in the remote viewing world between these three people. It's so funny.
I don't understand why they included all of this in this documentary.
I mean, I think because it's
someone hated these people. It had this
exposing
footage.
the people behind it and how their motives were
so
not
much
really
relationship
good.
drama included, though.
Check this out. So an excerpt from the affidavit is, he told me not to bother coming home because I had no money, and now all of my employees only worked for him and his company, LifeQuest. So while Janina was away on a business trip, Dane Spots was funneling all of their mutual funds into a new company that he privately owned. And here's where it comes together with the whole, like, what about remote viewing? It's particularly sad because this is the man, she's suing and divorcing the literal man of her dreams that she remote viewed in the past. So that's my next question is, worth it? You get to remote view your quote unquote soulmate, and you're going to get all the details right, but they're going to actually fuck you over, really.
I think
and
she's
you
going to end up
coming.
back with Ed at some point and look back and go, yeah, this guy just totally swindled us. Like, it is some dirty, rotten scoundrels kind of thing that seems like it's going on. Because that Dane Spots guy, he does sound very PP War. He does sound like such a huckster.
Super shady, such a sack of shit.
Just using all of this for personal gain. Ed Dames does have, like, he's a cool guy, but he does seem to actually have, like a heart, and he does seem to care about some things.
He's too obsessed with work, I guess, and that's
aliens.
where that. Well, yeah, aliens is his work, dude. But yeah, so I mean, what if you had the option to remote view like you're a perfect person? Like, I don't think that it would be worth it to do it, because you'd be kind of wrong. Like, she was wrong about this guy being perfect for her.
No,
right?
it's like spying on someone too. It's like an invasion of privacy, and like it's not natural. It's in, you know what I mean?
It's not natural.
It's not natural. Yeah. I mean, and I mean that in the like in the most innocent terms. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
just stick to
I
Bumble. Yeah, make your profile say
Ed Dames could not be satisfied unless he was thrown certain types of bones.
Yeah. And don't even try to look at lottery numbers, right? Because it's just going to take away. I mean, we don't know. To wrap up, I mean, here's how Ed Dames feels about that subject.
Who wants to know everything? It takes the fun. I'd shoot myself if I knew everything. It takes the fun out of life. know, the thrill of the hunt. I don't want to know everything.
You don't want to know everything.
Well, that sounds like a different end. Like he does sound pretty unhinged by the end of this.
And that was at the end of that that Q&A. Like I said, I'm pretty sure he was not sober for it, but at least I believe this part about him.
I'd shoot myself if I knew everything. I don't want to know everything.
Don't shoot yourself.
It almost sounds like he said,
Did he say shit himself? I thought he said he shit himself.
The only way I knew that it was shoot myself was he does pantomime. He puts like a little finger gun up to his head, but it literally sounds like I'd shit myself. Either way, don't do it. Please don't do it.
And don't look into yourself. There's tons of people you can be looking at.
It'd be nice if Jonina and him get back together because they were married before, but Jonina actually passed away in 2015. So
rest in peace.
All right. R.I.P. Jonina. Yeah. And I gotta say, Ed Dames, like you mentioned him being on Coast to Coast. He got very well known for being on Coast to Coast in the 90s with Art Bell. He was on with him numerous times. He was always talking about doom and gloom predictions, remote viewing, aliens, you name it. And he is still out there, Major Ed Dames, because while we were preparing for this episode, just like the shadow, Ed Dames appeared on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie just a few nights ago, and I listened to it, and his wife wasn't lying. He really does have that passion for extraterrestrials, because he was talking to George Norrie about Travis Walton, ultra-terrestrials, like he's up with the new Hellier kind of speak. He even mentioned, gosh, you can believe this, he made a space pancake reference. He mentioned the ultra-terrestrials handing us weird pancakes. I was like, what's going on here?
That's crazy.
I was also surprised to learn that the big alien case that he likes to remote view, because he says he doesn't want to do Area 51, he doesn't want to do certain big ones. Rob, you're not going to believe this. The one he loves to talk about is the Ariel School incident.
One of my favorites.
He loves those kids and that story, and he remote views that all the time. So that is what Ed Dames is up to now. He's still out there on very recent Coast to Coast. And like I mentioned earlier, though, Ed Dames, he's just one of many remote viewers that are out there viewing mysteries, solving crimes, being interviewed. And we're going to real quick meet a remote viewer named Mike Webster. And this is a guy who has also had great success using this techniques. Here he is in an interview with the female version of Chris Farley, Florence Waters.
How is remote viewing used today?
I've been tasked to help locate murderers and to unravel clues that may help towards finding who the murderer may be in a particular case.
And does your work involve sitting in a dark room, say in a police station or something, and sort of conjuring up the image of the crime scene?
No, I sit at home with a cup of coffee.
Okay. Can you give me an example of a murder case or an insurance case where you've sort of conjured something up which has been helpful?
Yeah, there was a case in America where a man was found overboard from his boat in suspicious circumstances. I can't really say a great deal about it. However, there appeared to be no motive for the murder, and I was able to ascertain from the pieces that I could do through remote viewing that there was a possibility that actually it was an internal affair. Somebody in the family was actually involved in some way, or could be involved in some way. And I was eventually told that someone within the family had actually been arrested for the murder.
Whoa, another successful remote viewer solving crimes. And that has to suck for the family member that got busted. If you found out that a remote viewer is responsible for getting you thrown in jail, you don't believe in remote viewing, right? You're like, what are you talking about? This doesn't work.
No, I would think the opposite. I would be like, wait, if I covered all of my tracks properly and everything, like I thought of every single detail, and somebody that I don't fucking know, that doesn't know anybody that I know, found me, I would totally believe in it. Like, oh, geez, this person's magic.
Maybe. Yeah, well, you would know, but you would have to publicly be like, this is your evidence? This guy sitting around with his coffee in the police station?
Oh, yeah, but nobody really gets to get that public forum to decry somebody who's accusing them.
Seems pretty circumstantial. You know, like you kind of need something more solid than that. I feel like it could lead, you know, investigators in a certain direction where maybe they find more
once
evidence,
they find the evidence,
connect the dots sort of a thing. But I don't see how this could be used as any sort of, you know, actual evidence.
This sounds like a Murder, She Wrote episode. Like it's all like ritzy, like a family member fell over on the side of a boat, and it's a mystery. Like, you don't know what happened, and she's like, "Oh no, it was the family member." Like, huh?
That is how I think that is how it goes. So when psychics are actually used with trying to solve crimes, that's exactly they don't really like to put it on blast that they're using a psychic, but if they can lead them to solid evidence that is admissible in court, that's when it's a win. Obviously,
you need a good lawyer for that.
I mean,
we're going after. Look, we got the psychic defense going on with them. All right, we got this.
No, yeah. If you find the physical evidence is physical evidence. It's admissible. You can't submit just a whim and be like, no, but I'm seeing that this happened.
Yeah. But is this metaphysical evidence?
Yeah, well, the whole hunch.
Yes, absolutely.
People having a hunch is a metaphysical evidence. It's like that doesn't count at all.
I don't know.
I don't know about this guy. This interview
I'm somewhere else remotely right now. I'm sorry.
No, you need to bring. I know. You need to hold it in because I have one more remote viewer to talk about, and this is an OG in the remote viewing world. A man we mentioned in the beginning of this episode with his great song from 1977. Of course, we are talking about the spoon-bending man himself, Uri Geller. He's still out there too, guys. Just like Ed Dames was on Coast to Coast, Uri Geller's still out there. And here he is on the program Good Morning Britain, talking about some of the covert psychic spying that he was involved with in the 1970s and a specific mission he was sent on in Mako.
When they saw that I could remote view or I could activate telepathy, I was instilled into Mexico City for a few missions. One of them was to spy on the Russian embassy in Mexico City. They also got me into the Mexican White House where I met the president, made me a secret agent for Mexico's treasury. And I got into the embassy, and then my handler, my CIA handler, asked me a very strange request. Can you bring in information about the assassination of President Kennedy? Now, this happened 10 years before. I found that quite strange, but I did exactly what he wanted. So I managed to kind of wriggle myself into the right people. I asked questions, I used my powers, and I came to a stunning conclusion.
Holy crap. Uri Geller is about to drop the bomb about who is responsible for the Kennedy assassination. That is exciting remote viewing.
Yeah, he said he wriggled into the right people. I guess if that's what you have to
Mexico. He's a secret agent, but like for the treasury. It's like that. The first part's pretty cool. It's like, yeah, Mexico's president. He made me a secret agent of the treasury.
Mexican White House. Yeah. Of treasury. That's a really weird position to be put into in the treasury and to find out about.
You can just take anybody's money now.
You're asking way too many questions right now, Trey.
This is so many factors that like don't. No, I'm just saying this whole story sounds fucking zany.
Oh, there's so many details. All this information out there by my CIA handler, the Mexican government. I'm at a party. I'm doing all this great stuff.
Yeah, this sounds like Looney Tunes. Like, what is he gonna get to?
Well, I'm on the edge of my seat.
He's getting there. He had to. He had to look into all these Russian agents, look into everything, and here we go. Uri Geller is about to drop his JFK remote viewing bombshell.
I do not believe that the CIA were involved, nor the FBI, nor Lyndon B. Johnson. What I found out was so stunning, and of course I handed my information to the CIA agent, and I wonder whether this will be revealed today.
This stunning revelation, which we're hoping will come out in these papers, can you give us an idea of what it might be if it's not involving those agencies, Uri?
Well, look, Ben, you can imagine that everyone from all around the world wants to know this, the answer to this, and I just simply will not talk about it.
Oh, come on.
This will be revealed, it will be quite stunning. If nothing happens, if nothing appears, I will definitely not talk about it.
God damn it, Uri. You just tell us already. He's the worst. He thinks he knows who's responsible for the Kennedy assassination, but it's like, oh, well, it's not in these papers. I guess I can't say anything.
I mean, that's what's weird to me. I can understand him not being able to talk about something, but why would you agree to go onto a show that you know is going to ask you about
I have the top secret information. I just can't share it. You don't think?
Exactly.
And no one's doing that. We're not doing that. We're not giving you that clump sound or whatever. Uri, for pulling us off. God damn it. That's the frustrating part about remote viewers. It's like they're saying what? On one thing, they are finding, some important things. They're solving crimes. They're finding these rogue, whatever, travel agents that are hiding out there. But on the other side, they're not even looking into 9/11. We know we've got the top secret information. We just can't tell you. It's frustrating. And I think it's time we wrap it up for now. But before we go, I feel like we heard a lot of remote viewers talk about what they do, but they aren't telling us how we can do it. So I found this very brief instructional video from a woman named Crystal Cole, who can teach you to remote view in about 1 minute and 10 seconds.
A simple remote viewing tutorial is basically to first clear your mind. And you want to do this to get into a deep meditative hypnagogic theta state. And so if you are experienced with meditation, it should take you 5 to 15 minutes to attain this. Once you're there, then you want to basically choose your target and focus on your target. And so that means that whatever your target is, you want to make sure that you express that intention to yourself. And you can even repeat it over and over again in your mind. And then you want to start to visualize your target. And so as things start to appear in your mind, you want to start concentrating on them. And if colors, like a certain color starts sticking in your mind, you want to kind of focus on that. Blue. Or if a certain shape starts sticking in your mind, you want to focus on that. And some people also at this stage will actually go out of body to try to go physically go where their target is to look at it. Wee. And that way it can work too. I think that it's really up to you on what you really want to try. And then after it's all over, you want to actually have the target that you visualized in your mind, and you want to compare it to the real target in reality to see if you were right. And I would say not to get discouraged if it doesn't work the first few times. You just want to keep trying, because all things can develop with practice.
Well, guess what? I'm remote viewing. Did that make sense to you, Drea? What she said in that very, very concise instructional video?
Did it make sense? I mean, what she ended with the whole practice makes perfect kind of thing, like keep practicing, that made sense. I've never tried to remote view anything, so I couldn't tell you.
Oh, that's good. See, and I found doing this research, that there are 2 ways you can go about learning how to remote view. You can watch this lady talk for 1 minute with her Tiger Eyes shirt, which is a great video. We'll have to post some of this. Or you can buy Ed Dames' DVDs or his 2-hour-long streaming service, Mind Dazzle thing.
Oh,
that's the Mind Dazzle.
Of course.
You can waste a lot of time with Mind Dazzle, or you could just listen to this. And I wanted to put that instructional video, that instructional course in remote viewing out there for a reason, because this week's poll will be a remote viewing challenge for the listeners. That's right, Unbelievers. And you two as well. You two can do this too.
Awesome.
I have a box here, and this is Russ's mystery box, and contained within this box is an item. And I am challenging all of you new up-and-coming remote viewers after hearing this tonight. I am challenging you to look into my box and tell me what you see. And if someone can successfully identify whatever is in my box, or even get close, you will receive a prize.
If
anybody, a t-shirt.
If someone can penetrate Russ's box,
please, I need my box penetrated.
Please do so that you can be correct and not win any lottery money.
And hey,
you guys will back
sexy.
me up. I am holding the box here, right?
Yes, we see the box. It's got
Russ's
black.
mystery box.
It looks like the Riddler from the new Batman movie made it. It looks
so
like
many question marks
the
are on
Zodiac
it.
Killer created it. It's great.
Hold on. And if you win, I will send the t-shirt in the Russ's mystery box. You will have the box. You
just
keep
FYI, to rule out at least one possibility, it is not large enough to contain Gwyneth Paltrow's head. So do not put that into the others.
It could be anything in this box.
What's in the box?
And I want you to give some guesses in a second, but it could be anything. It could be a random object, or maybe it's something significant to myself that is related to the show or Unbelievable podcast, or both maybe.
Or still random object. He could totally be throwing us for a loop, you guys.
And you're supposed to have some kind of coordinates for viewing in any remote viewing project. I will put the coordinates out on Instagram with a picture of me holding my mystery box. But I want to go, before we do this, do you guys have any initial guesses of what this could be? Drea Mora, what do you think is in Russ's mystery box?
First of all, that's not fair because he said you're going to put the coordinates out afterwards and we need like 5 to 15
Just
minutes
a quick
to clear our heads.
It's not your final vote. What do you think?
I don't know. It's probably... It's swag of some kind. It's some kind of merchandise.
It's some kind of swag. Rob, what are your initial thoughts about what? I'll shake the box here. What could it be in
nothing.
there?
He got a box shake and I didn't get a box
hear nothing.
shake.
I heard nothing. It didn't help. I'm seeing a shape though.
Seeing a shape.
Seeing
Bob likes the shape.
A rectangle. A rectangle.
Maybe it's
something that's rectangular.
And fuzzy and furry and bristly.
Could be bristly. Could be. You gotta worry about textures.
Look, Rob, you can't guess the box itself. That doesn't count.
Textures are important.
I'm seeing smooth. No, I'm not. That's a good guess. I like that, Dre. I could just be remote viewing the actual box. That's could be what's happening. I have a feeling I'm seeing smooth and shiny and rectangular. I don't know.
Okay. All right. I like that. I like
Rob's
that
on
very
it.
much.
He's on something. Yeah.
Could it be that? Could it be swag? And we want you to go into the other. So be sure and answer this week's poll. What's in Russ's box? Is it what they said? Or is it something? You please use remote viewing skills that you've learned to tell me what is in this box.
Don't cheat somehow.
Yeah,
use remote viewing.
Yeah. I won't tell you. I promise you. I'm keeping this secret. So go to unbelieverspodcast.com to vote, and let's move our minds elsewhere. The OCs with the remote viewer. It's not a lot of great remote viewing songs, but I really like that one.
Surprisingly,
not a lot.
Didn't think that was a good.
Great
didn't think that was a
remote
popular
viewing
topic.
song. Yeah, I'm really surprised it's not a popular topic for songs.
It's not a big genre like Bigfoot would be, or even UFOs and aliens and stuff. But man, the mystery box. You guys ready to remote view this thing? I'm excited to see what kind of
places, things, or events
could be in there. Could be persons.
I don't think any of those things are.
I don't know
there.
how it could be an event or a person.
I don't think it's any of those things in there, but it is an interesting mystery, and I am slightly compelled to see what's inside of it.
It could be
definitely going to be a thing.
It could be something. It could be smooth. It could be lots of different things. Remember, textures. Textures are important. We've already learned this.
Yeah. I just hope whatever's in there isn't alive because it probably needs to breathe.
I'm saying if you're listening now, you better move fast. It's nothing alive. Well, I'm not gonna give it away, but I'm sure you can assume there's nothing alive in Russ's mystery box.
It's definitely not Kathleen Roberts' dildo, her vibrator.
Oh, thank God.
It's definitely not that. So you don't have to worry about that.
Why do you have to bring that back up, man? I thought we were out of that well. All right. Yes, please tell me what is inside my mystery box. And hey, if you do, I might say...
Were you hired as a psychic spy? I guess, yeah.
And you can giggle at me. All right. We've got one more thing to do. Drea, what's that?
Poll results.
Oh, this week's poll, or should I say this New Year's poll, what should the Unbelievers podcast discuss in 2022? And the choices are aliens, UFOs, cryptids, psychics and channelers, rods, and of course, other. I'm going to ask you, Drea, what do you think the Unbelievers said?
They seem to really like channelers and stuff, so probably that.
I don't know. What about you, Rob?
I think they probably said that there will be more on rods. I think that's probably where they're
I wish. Sorry, Rob. With only 3.03% of the vote, rods.
Surprising. Very surprising. Actually.
Very surprising.
Psychics and channelers came in at 9%, but at 21.21%. Aliens and UFOs.
Of course. Well,
People
good.
chiming in.
Yeah. They love those guys.
So yes, of course, there will be more on rods and that, but of course, there are others. What should the Unbelievers podcast discuss in 2022? How about ancient aliens? Gift or grift? Signed, There Is No Richard. Oh, gift or grift. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
I do. I also remember There's No Richard. Good sign off.
Thank you. There is no Richard.
We should do some Ancient Aliens. We've never actually done Ancient Aliens. It's a great idea.
For a reason.
We may have like dabbled a little bit. We dipped our toe slightly into some Ancient Aliens, but we should do like a legit Ancient Aliens episode. That would be fun.
have a lot to say about it, so yeah,
Even
I'm not
on
opposed
just like
to
Ancient
it.
Alien theory in general, I feel like that would be fun.
Yeah, get Pete back or something like that.
Yeah,
do
hell
that for sure.
Fuck yeah.
There you
And
go.
yeah, of course, gift or grift. I don't know. That's coming too. That's a separate thing. That's different. But I will thank you. There is no Richard for reminding me of that. What should the Unbelievers podcast discuss in 2022? Remember the aliens from Alien Nation? They would get drunk on sour milk. That was awesome. I wonder what buttermilk would do. Oh, you didn't sign off. Yeah, you guys remember that show Alien Nation with the aliens with like the weird spots all over their heads?
No, I don't think I'm familiar with
Like,
that.
what was a cop? The show made no sense. It was like aliens lived among us, but they were pretty much normal, but they would get drunk on milk.
Oh.
Okay, so it's kind of like Roswell, but with more drinking.
That's cool, though. I like that. They should do a reboot. Like, they should bring it back.
Bring it back. Bring those spotted tail aliens back.
Let me find the original first. I don't know.
Milk drinking aliens? I'm in.
Sour milk, even.
You didn't sign off, though. What should the Unbelievers podcast discuss in 2022? Oh, shit. I can't remember if I did this already. So just in case, aliens and shit and stuff. Signed, Harley Warren. Of course, Harley Warren. We can get into aliens and shit and stuff.
Just for you. You got it.
I think he's actually referencing the classic.
We saw some Martian or shit or something.
Of course.
We will get on that, Harley
Down
Warren. What
for
should the Unbelievers podcast discuss in 2022? I'd love your take on quote-unquote Captain Mark Richards or anything Hollow Earth. Signed Community Dog if you need a sign off. We'll take a sign off Community Dog. We all love the Community Dog.
Love Community Dog.
Hollow Earth. We haven't been there yet. We haven't talked much about it. So
Very
let's
true.
do it.
Yeah, the Agartha. Get in there.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, we've done some Antarctica, which is close, but
That's
Captain
true.
Mark Richards, we'll do that too. What should the Unbelievers podcast discuss in 2022? Filling pants and bowls. Signed pants filler. Well, sure.
Why not?
All right.
There will be more.
Filling pants
There will be
first.
more on
Be
bowls.
throwing up and filling my pants.
Of course.
Thank you and welcome back, pants filler.
And
what should the Unbelievers podcast?
Gotta give him the balls, dude.
We went to
Gotta
this
hit him with the
room.
balls.
There was this bowl on this table, and I was supposed to ejaculate into the bowl.
People
There you
get
go. First-
upset when there's no bowls.
The
Got
first
to
one
have
of 2022. There it is.
Oh my God, true.
If we let him win, then it's just going to be all bowl results again, like all down the line. We got to watch it. Be careful here.
I was kind of okay with it.
What should the Unbelievers podcast discuss in 2022? BOFFA, D's Cox. Signed, Spermy Paracox.
Clever.
What? Wait, explain it to me like I'm a 3-year-old.
I believe he's telling me Bofa D's Cox.
Oh! Now I get it. All
It's
right.
so great because Bank of America is BOFA.
Oh.
And they didn't realize
That's
it.
true.
Yeah.
That is true.
We'll look into that, Spermy Paracox. What should the Unbelievers podcast discuss in 2022? 24/7 mountain monsters. Hell yeah, buckaroo.
No way.
Reptilian mailman. Oh, I think I'm broken on mountain monsters.
No more.
No more.
No more, but-
I veto that, but I love the sign off.
I guess we could still give him one of these.
We do one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Reptilian Mailman. What should the Unbelievers podcast discuss in 2022? I can't believe you guys found a folklore creature called bowl liquor. Liquor. Best real show ever. Signed Hose B. Oh, thanks, Hose B.
Thank you.
Yes, we found a bowl liquor.
He's out there.
Askan Lika. He liked the pronunciation. I wonder if I still have that on here. I think that's one of the look, wait, listen to this.
Askasleke.
Yeah,
There's a bowl
so
liquor.
good, Hose B.
There you
Look
go.
at that.
Wow.
Thank you, Hose B. What should the Unbelievers podcast discuss in 2022? Let's talk about getting softened, bent over, and hardened up again by these damn vampire rods. Or is that just me? Signed, Whooping Hooper.
Good fall. Here it is. Here you
Yes.
go.
Must be softened, bent over, and then hardened up again.
Really good pull. Really good.
I forgot about that one.
All right, I got
We've got too many. We've got too many.
That
good
was
clips.
the Dungarvan Hooper. That was Hooper.
In the Whooping Hooper. And hey, update Whooping Hooper. I think I have something related to you coming in the upcoming weeks. What should the Unbelievers podcast discuss in 2022? More about people beating off cryptids. I find the rods hard to swallow. Signed, K. Mill. Oh, K. Mill coming in there.
So you don't have any videos of people swallowing rods?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
But that was
Not
a while
yet.
ago. I bet you he did get his hand on it. I think I've said that before. Thank you, K. Mill. Go check out I Don't Know podcast. What should the Unbelievers podcast discuss in 2022? Alternate ways to get tomatoes ripe. Signed, Tomato-less in Seattle.
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
Apples stored with green tomatoes will hasten the ripening process.
You know, if people... Thank you. If people can find good Dee Petty episodes or clips somewhere, please let me know, because it's hard to find stuff on her. Like, the best I can find is like an hour-long interview with Soupy Sales, and it's not unbelievable or anything.
Doesn't have any cool music like the other.
No
clips do.
abductees,
Yeah.
nothing's ripening
Damn it.
except Soupy Sales. Thank you, Tomato-less in Seattle. What should the Unbelievers podcast discuss in 2022? Let's do cults and shit. Signed, Skeletor.
All right.
Skeletor. Yes, I want to talk about some cults.
We could do that. I mean, we've discussed maybe doing like some more history style episodes, maybe, and doing like I don't know. I feel like there's something there maybe for cults. What was the really popular one that they all killed themselves?
Jonestown, of course.
Oh,
the aliens.
the fucking
The Raelians? Oh, you're talking about Heaven's Gate?
Heaven's Gate. Yes, exactly.
We can do that. Yeah, and I've always wanted to reach out because there's a way to get questions from people still running Heaven's Gate. We can look into that.
Interesting.
So
we have an unbelievable.
Come on, thank you so much to
Skeletor, the master of the universe.
What should the Unbelievers podcast discuss in 2022? Need any comforting words for a recently deceased loved one? They're in water, honey. Signed, the ghost of Sylvia Brown. Thank you, Sylvia Brown. I don't know if that's much
mean, but good.
Thank you. I don't even think Sylvia Brown is on the book.
No, we're not.
She probably did. We're not going to bring her into
We're not
this.
giving her any fucking nothing. She doesn't get anything.
Goodbye, Ghost of Sylvia Brown. What should the Unbelievers podcast discuss in 2022? Whatever, but please, for the love of all things awful, no more monster hunters. And all right, you can stop me right there. Signed, Corrupted Mask. Yes, we can take a break. There's not much more of them. I think we've covered everything.
We've covered a lot of them. We definitely have. But you know what?
For those haters out there who think this is fake, I'll stop you right there.
Thanks for being around, Corrupted Mask. What should the Unbelievers podcast discuss in 2022? The Coronado Group abduction or Wampus Cats. The hell are those things? Signed, Destined Star. We will look into the Coronado Group abduction. That sounds like a fun one, but also Wampus Cats. Man, look out. There might be unbelievable cats at some point. That might be. We've gone to humans.
They're out there.
Wampus Cats. I don't know. I've never heard of them. I'm interested.
I got some other cats on my radar as well. So thank you, Destined Star. And man, we got more. We got another page of these. Well, what should the Unbelievers podcast discuss in 2022? Deep in the woods of the Pacific Northwest, there is a cave. And in this cave is a man. This man, my old dad. Investigate him. Signed, you know who. Scared of my dad guy. We'll look into it. We've got clues.
Bigfoot were my dad.
And he lives in a cave.
Thank you, Scared of My Dad guy. Hope you're doing okay. What should the Unbelievers podcast discuss in 2022? Y'all need to review that Alien Highway movie I keep pushing on Russ. Do I need to send you the DVD, man? Signed, Bus Buddha, formerly Blue Box UFO. Blue Box UFO, making the transition. Bus Buddha now. All right, Bus Buddha.
Bus Buddha.
And yes, I will check out Alien Highway. It is we will do that. Thank you so much. He sends a lot of great suggestions.
Let's
I feel
check it
bad
out.
that
We'll check it out.
We will for sure, Bus Buddha. Thank you so much. What should the Unbelievers podcast discuss in 2022? MILF/DILFs in science, where test tube meet nighttime porkin'. Signed, Best Buy employee man. Best
It sounds
Buy
like you
employee
just
man.
want to watch some porn.
What? He wants to watch MILFs and DILFs?
MILFs, DILFs in science where test tubes meets nighttime porking. I mean, all right.
Okay.
It's sciencey related. And actually, that's our final one for this evening. Thank you, Best Buy. Best Buy employee man.
What a spot to leave it off at.
Yeah, great note to leave off on.
Yeah, MILFs and DILFs in a science lab having sex. Okay, let's do it. Yep, sounds good.
These were some actual real good suggestions. It's going to be hard to actually pick someone to actually win this because these are, I mean, you kind of win, I guess, if we would do the topic that you brought up in here.
But they all could possibly be winners.
Were there any that stood out to you, though, Rob? Someone's got to win this thing. Who did you like?
Wow. It's tough because a lot of them were just really good recommendations.
Right, like Reptilian Mailman with 24/7 Mountain Monsters. Hell yeah, Buckaroo. All right,
and then
I liked
somebody
Hose
with the
B.
opposite suggestion.
I liked Hose B. Hose B said, "I can't believe you guys found a folklore creature called bowl liquor."
I really like that. Yeah, that's a great. That was probably made me laugh the hardest, I think, out of all of these. So I got to go with that one as well. Hose B.
All right, he's picking Hose B. Dre, are there anyone you want me to read back, or is there any that stood out to you?
I really, really liked Tomato List in Seattle, like suggestion about more ways to ripen tomatoes. But I think Scared of My Dad guy, because at this point it's becoming enough of a legend that it sounds like there could be feral people out in the woods. So it's both, to me, an interesting suggestion and just funny.
Okay. And there's been a lot of lore to it so far. I feel like
he lives in a cave. We know that
it's going to keep coming on. Yeah. And we will learn more. And that is something I think the only way we're going to research this is through poll results anyway. So if we keep the story going, I'll give a tie this week and start off the year. We'll start off 2 because I think we're recording this on 2/2/22. So there will be 2 winners. Thank you and congratulations. Scared of My Dad guy with Deep in the Woods of the Pacific Northwest. There's a cave. And in this cave, there is a man. This man, my old dad. It's like a poem this time. This man, my old dad. Investigate him. And also congratulations, Hose B. I can't believe you guys found a folklore creature called bowl liquor. Askalika, best real show ever.
Askasleikir, bowl liquor.
And congratulations, you guys just won this week's poll results. All right, we have come to the end of the program, but before we go, Drea Mora, do you have anything you'd like to say or plug?
I just actually want to put it out there to unbelievers that if you guys want any more like art that you want to submit for the merch store, stuff like that, we could use a nice little refresher for 2022, I think.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Yeah.
And it was nice seeing people. And also, I want to, on behalf of Unbelievers and everyone in this house and everyone, I want to thank you, Drea, for running the Secret Schneider last year. That went off very well. And, at the end of the day, I think everyone was taken care of. Everybody got cool stuff. I'm very happy. It was very nice to see people get that stuff. Can't wait to do it next year.
Yeah,
and go check out
fun.
Spirits and Spirits if she's not going to plug that.
I'm not going to plug it. Thank you.
What about you, Rob?
I will plug. I'll say first, you can email us because we're going to be checking out some emails next week and some listener stories and stuff like that. I think we have some voicemails. So, of course, call the voicemail number. What's that number, guys?
469-420-0114 is the voicemail. Yeah, leave us some voicemail and send us some emails and stuff. We want to hear from you guys.
And check out the Instagram at Unbelievers Podcast. Check out my Instagram at Rob Oakey.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll be doing Twitch again soon, doing some fun live streams. We're trying to do it once a month.
Yes.
We're going to go episodes, Twitch streams, things like that this year. We're mixing up a little bit. And I'm just going to plug Russ's Mystery Box. Go to unbelieverspodcast.com and get those remote viewing skills working. I want you guys getting deep in there. I want you finding out what's in that box. I'll post pictures of me holding the box so you can imagine it. So you can stare at me holding a box. Tell me what's inside.
It's his dick in a box?
There's no Roz or anything like that, all right? It's not like that. The Unbelievers Podcast host today were Drea Mora and me, Russ Ryan. Our producer and soundboard engineer is Rob Oakey. You can go get our tarot cards at unbelievablepodcards.com, I think. You can join our Patreon by going to patreon.com/unbelieverspodcast. You can follow us on Twitter at unbelieverspod and Instagram at unbelieverspodcast. Our Facebook group is the Unbelievable Podcast Network. And check out our merch store at TeePublic. There's a link in the description. There's also our old shop in there, too, where you can get glasses and fun stuff. Right, Drea?
Oh, yeah. Shot glasses.
Yes, and thank you so much to our patrons, Destin Starr, Jack D. Whiskers, Brandon Cardona, The Ominous Clouds, Chris Porteous, Robert Farrington, Dominic Shealy, Lid Vicious, Fabian, Art Muffin, Nick Marshall, Ramiro, Sam Schvoval, Creepy Little Book, Johnny Knotts, Sandra and Deborah Foles, Chris Stroker, Jeffrey Hartenramth, Luis Payon, 8-Bit Melody, Jenny Dyer, Christopher Balderrama, David Egelhoff, JT Spranklin, Vic Voss, Little BB, Dr. Ortega, Tyler Ventura, Adam Dvorak, Corrupted Mass, Michael Phelps, Carol Valley, Manny, MQ Ultra, CJP, Braden Hitt, Raymond Orwell, Todd X, Christopher Panici, The Moon, That Judgy Moon, Mike Henry, Bryce Cronenberg Jr., Don Bright, Shanna Ferrigno, Tom O'Connell, Donna Bands, Jenna Stevens, Cat Chaos, Jason Kelly, and Mike, Brian Ashton, Michael Armento, Wombat Preservationist. Our music advisor is Pandora3373. Our official composer and theme song creator is Unbeliever A.A. Ron, a.k.a. Aaron Schilb. Go follow him on Instagram at The Aaron Schilb. Our official graphic designer and card maker designs our logo is Raymond Roel. Check out his work at P. Raven Creative on Twitter and Project Raven Creative on Instagram. Our official Baby Yoda publicist is Pam Z. Our official Unbeliever listening between the stations for a message from Art Bell is Scott E. Our official Hazmat Lou is Hazmat Lou. Our official Unbeliever without a title is Nicholas Aristavi. Our official Unbeliever raising Puckwudgies is Joe Filler. Our official resident Sagittarius is Gozanton. Our official Madman's Unbeliever Adam. Our official Mothman enthusiast is Michael Shields. Our official Unbeliever peacefully eating a hamburger is Michelle Durham. Our official Unbelievers time traveler is Taylor Nelson. Our official Ghost Hunter is Amelia Childs, and Ghost Hunting in New England, of course, Hubie Halloween. And also check out her most recent episode, an interview with the daughter of Jason Hawes, the paranormal couple, in a rare interview. Go check that out. And our official senior European correspondent is Kay Mill of the I Don't Know podcast. Our official guardian of the bench is at Kraken Stacker. Our official alien bopper is Nunchuck Bop. And this week's Unbeliever focus is Roy Oil Can Boy from the Discord, who has recently just caught up on our past episodes during the break. And while he loved our rod-based episodes, he doesn't believe me when I say there will be more on rods. In fact, he said it would be impossible for us to do even more on rods. And to that, I responded with...
Say what? What's impossible again?
All right, good night. Tell him, Drea.
Don't go remote peeping on people. It's rude and illegal.
There you go.
Discontinue!